welcome to the Pretty Loud podcast. We're so thrilled to have you today. I'm Riona, and joining me are the incredible Airies and Chelsea, your hosts for today's episode in journey into fan culture and how it may influence our mind. Now, we've got a big question that's been on our mind, and we want you to think about it too. Why do we cry when our favorite celebrities gets together with anyone else? Think about it. Like, why is it so hard seeing our favorite stars with anyone else? Like, it hits harder than our own Monday mornings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world of parasocial relationships, a one-sided emotional bond with celebrities we admire online. From Swifties to ARMY to your favorite YouTuber. Fans aren't just watching from the sidelines. We live in a digital era where TikTok shares, likes, and videos makes us feel personally connected. And sometimes that connection hurts. But before we dive into all the big stuff, let's define something first. What does being a fan mean to you, Airies?
Well, to me, being a fan is simply liking or admiring someone for their skills and features. Though some may even classify a fan as having much of an artist or knowing everything about them, etc. But I believe that kind of stuff, is too extreme. Being a fan should be just a simple liking towards someone. Though personally, I have been a big fan of a YouTuber called Markiplier ever since I was a kid. He's been such a fun and funny YouTuber to watch, and his behavior genuinely inspires me to be a better person. That goes to show what can make someone a fan and what type of person you should admire. What about you, Chelsea?
I am glad that you asked me, Airies. So, before that, I have been a big fan of BTS since 2017. So, that's what makes me an ARMY, the official of fandom name. Now, speaking about fandom, it literally means the world of fans. As Airies mentioned earlier, a fan is someone who admires someone's talent and feature. Meanwhile, the suffix dom refers to a state, realm, or community. So, fandom is more than just liking something. It represents an entire community built around a shared passion. So, for example, fans of a K-pop group stream videos strategically, vote in online polls, and even organize charity projects under the group's name. In many ways, this shows the positive side of fandom. This goes the same way as celebrities, influencers, you name it. Though I might say some fan communities are quite scary. In certain cases, fans might become overly obsessive or defensive towards their idols. I am interested in listening what Riona has to say. What about you, Riona?
I certainly agree with you guys' opinion. So let me jump in here. Fan culture is basically the community and creativity that grows around something people are passionate about. And I'm sure it's not just liking an artist or a team, but it's about being part of a bigger team that shares the same excitement. And I'll be real with you guys, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I haven't made it to one of her concerts yet. Tragic, I know. But I've been to multiple fan events, and honestly, those gatherings shows you what a fan culture really is. Everyone singing together, swapping friendship bracelets, sharing stories. It feels like you're part of a bigger thing than yourself. At least that's what the magic of fandom is.
So, fan culture is basically about community and creativity. Yes.
Exactly. And that makes me wonder, why do you guys think that Gen Z connects so deeply to fandoms compared to other generations?
Okay, I have an opinion. So, from my perspective, Gen Z seem to bond with fandom culture more than older generations for several reasons. So, one of them is, according to the Yahoo News, research by the AEG Global Partnership, the Life Effect shows that Gen Z's fans are especially likely to feel a real sense of identity and connection through fandom participation. and many have reported feeling more understood by fellow fans at concerts than people in their daily life. That's all that I think. So, what about you, Aries? What did you think?
Well, in my opinion, Gen Z tend to connect more deeply with fandoms because they treat it as a form of escapism and emotional comfort. When the real world pressures become too overwhelming, fictional worlds and characters or media figures in general give a sense of comfort through strong emotional connection. Though this may create a parasocial relationship, which is a type of one-sided bond people form with media figures. According to a research done by Riva Tukaczynski and his colleagues, these parasocial relationships are strongly linked to deeper media involvement and identification with media figures, helping explain why fans feel so connected to the stories and personalities they follow.
I personally definitely agree with that point about parasocial interactions. These one sided emotional connections can feel very real to fans because celebrities constantly share parts of their lives through social media. Over time, fans may feel like they personally know the artist, even though the relationship is not mutual. And in some cases, the attachment can become very extreme. Do you guys know about the K-pop industry phenomenon of sasaeng fans? These are individuals who become so intensely fixated on idols that they invade artists' privacy, such as following them to private schedules, tracking their information, or even trying to obtain personal information. So today, being a fan is not just about enjoying a movie, a music artist, or even a sports team. For many people, it actually becomes a part of the social identity. According to research published on Psychology iResearch.net, fan communities often form through something called self-categorizations, where people start to define themselves based on groups as a part of specific fan base and adopt shared behaviors, language, or values within that group. So, at the same time, fan culture also creates a strong sense of community belonging. Many fans connect with each other through online platforms like Twitter, Reddit, fan forums, you name it, where they share opinions, theories, and creative content. So, a study reported by PsychReg found that online fandoms can actually provide people with a meaningful sense of belonging and social connections, especially for individuals who may not find the same level of connection in their offline environments. Another interesting aspect is cultural participations. Fans today are no longer just consumers of entertainment, they are also creators. Plus, fans often produce content such as fan arts, fan fiction, edits, or even memes that reinterpret existing media and contribute to a larger participatory culture. In other words, fans help shape the culture around the media they love. With that in mind, I'm curious to hear everyone's thought. Do you think fan culture mostly creates positive spaces for identity and belonging, or do you think it can sometimes cross the line into obsession?
I think from my point of view, yes, I do agree that fan culture can create positive spaces for identity and a sense of belonging in a specific group that you are in. To talk about self-categorization in fandoms, I think you have mentioned about creating fan arts, fan fiction, or even making memes. From my perspective, this can actually help them to have a source of income too. So they can open this source of income by opening commission for making fan art or edits for their consumers. So I have come across an article in Humanities that examined the monetization and compensation practice in fandom by using practice of fan binding, also known as taking fan fiction or fan written art material and turning it into a physically bound books. The author found that some fan creators accept the commission, like if the customer requested them something and they will do it the exact same way, but they usually make this on a small scale or to cover the material cost and the time. This also known as hybrid economy, which is a blend of traditional fan gift culture and compensated creation that supports the artist's ability to keep producing work. So in other words, it means that you are supporting the artist. You are supporting the artist by appreciating their work by commissioning them, but also at the same time they have a source of income to cover all the costs. So despite the fact that fans create things inspired by their favorite idols or celebrities, there is a category of followers that sells counterfeit or fake merchandise. So some even commercialize it at the same price as the original product. I have seen so many counterfeits or even fake merchandise being sold at small booths in malls or even online shops. According to the Korea Jung-Ang Daily, the Korea's trademark police division has seized 20,000 counterfeit K-pop items, including collectible photo cards and even physical albums. Many of these items are sold to fans and tourists who believe that these items are authentic. This demonstrates how counterfeits and fake merchandise can trick customers and take advantage of the fan enthusiasm in collecting stuff. So it is really sad to hear fans getting scammed nowadays, but on the good side, honest sellers are generating their income in the honest way.
Indeed, fan-made content such as edits, memes, fan arts, etc. do create safe spaces and belonging in a group. But you mentioned fan fiction, and more often than not, those kind of content, from what I've seen, do cross the line into obsession. Some fans may be obsessed with their favorite characters and their ships, or in other words, relationships. This could create online harassment when extremely obsessed fans attack an author or an actor who does not align with their interpretation of the story. A clinical psychologist and professor at Westchester University, Lynn Zubernis, noted that strong emotional attachment to media can sometimes lead to coordinated online attacks, as well as review bombing or harassment campaigns within fandom communities. This can be worsened when a collective group of these fandoms band together over a mutual hatred towards someone. This deters new fans from staying when they have no extensive knowledge of said characters, which leads to them being attacked and harassed. On the topic of ships or character relationships, one side of the fandom may attack another side of the fandom that prefers character A to be with character C more than character D. This happens a lot with shows and games that I like. Some of them don't even understand friendship dynamics and treat characters who are just friends, and even ones that just straight up hate each other, as potential ships. Things like this strengthens fans' unhealthy parasocial relationships. Fanfiction can also create an obsession when self-insert comes to play. That lingering fantasy of like, oh, how amazing would it be if character A would fall in love with me, can be unhealthy when an author constantly writes fanfiction stories answering that question. Though yes, fanfiction can be a good thing. It can be a good way to show creativity among the fandom. Though this parasocial relationship thing does not happen as often, but its cause for obsession is undeniable.
True. Personally, I lean toward the idea that fan culture mostly create positive spaces. I've seen how online fandoms can bring people together, help them feel accepted, and even give them creative outlet through fan art or fan fiction, like you mentioned earlier. That said, I also think that it's important to acknowledge things that can go a little too far. Sometimes people get too consumed by a fandom that it affects their mental health or creates conflicts between fan groups. So it's really a mix. But for me, the community building and creative aspects outweighs the negatives as long as we stay aware of the boundaries.
I totally agree that the community and creative aspects outweigh the negative one. So speaking about creativity, I have come across so many artistic fans who create a lot of artworks or their own products themselves, as I mentioned just now. But let's take this as an example. So I have seen a fan of Taylor Swift taking two songs from Taylor Swift, of course, and then mashing it up together to create a brand new sound. Now, that's real talent that we are talking. So not to forget dedicated fan who cosplay as the favorite character. So you probably have heard about them or seen them in real life or even on social media. Cosplayers spend their time creating one-of-a-kind clothing pieces just to dress up as the desired character. So creating this unique accessory or clothing pieces with complex details can be very time consuming, but the results at the end are totally worth it. So some fans uses their talent in cosplaying to host a fan meet event. However, as things are planned, it sometimes did not go as way that you planned it, and some even leave a bad taste in onlookers' mouth. Some convention or events that cast creative cosplayer to this for these fan meets, and dedicated fans of the cosplayer can come to take pictures, to ask them questions, or even do trends with them. However, some questionable fan behavior, like screaming or fangirling, can be seen happening in most of this event. This behavior often shows the obsessive nature of fans, and they will react to anything the cosplayer do, and to make it wider, anything the artist or celebrity or the character of a show do. So research by Guan, titled "Take 3 Idols Chasing Chaos" as example, demonstrates that this fangirling activity, this behavior, is primarily motivated by intense emotional excitement and adoration for these celebrities. But we have to remember that we, as a person, and to remember that the cosplayers, the actors, the celebrities or idols are just a normal human being, and we have to respect them no matter what.
Your point about community and creativity actually connects strongly with the ideas of collective behavior in online communities. So basically, collective behavior refers to the actions and reactions of a large group of people who come together around a shared interest, events, or emotions, often in a spontaneous or loosely organized way, just like what I mentioned earlier about the Taylor Swift fan events I used to attend. Online platforms allows the collective response to happen almost instantly. Fans discuss theories, defend their favorite artists, and even organize campaigns together. These shared participations can strengthen solidarity within the fandom and create a strong sense of belonging. However, collective behaviors can also explain why conflicts happen sometimes arise between different fan groups. When people strongly identify with their fandom, they may feel the need to protect it, which can lead to arguments or competition online. This shows that collective behaviors in fandoms can produce both positive outcomes. So, while fandoms can be powerful spaces for connections and expressions, the dynamics of collective behavior reminds us that group influence can shape how individuals think and act online.
Exactly. I remember seeing a fandom of online content creators have an online war with each other. It was between fandoms of Iron Mouse and Rakai. There was a clip where Iron Mouse wasn't comfortable speaking to Rakai as he was asking her questions that were way out of her personal boundaries. But Rakai's fans took it as her being racist. Both sides of the fandom were throwing insults online at each other on multiple platforms.
Oh my, that is terrible. Imagine starting an online fight just because of small understanding. I remember experiencing it too back in the days. I was using Twitter and I was just sharing opinion of this specific artist song's choice. I was particularly trying to comment on the song not being really good. It's just an act of expression, but I got attacked just for expressing my opinion.
Yeah, and honestly, this really ties into something we see a lot online, which is toxic stan culture. Like, being a devoted fan is fine, but when it turns into constantly attacking each other, people online, or arguing over every little plot twist, that's when it gets unhealthy. It actually links to what psychologists call compulsive media consumptions. When you're checking updates, defending your favorite show or character, or scrolling to comment sections for hours, it can start feeling exhausting. For example, when a popular series like Stranger Things releases a new season, fans often flood social medias with debates about characters, decisions, or theories. Sometimes those debates spiral into huge arguments online, and people feel like they have to stay glued to feed just to keep up with the news. So, from a mental health perspective, that constant pressure can lead to stress, anxiety, or just straight up burnout. So even creators feel the effects when fans' reactions get too intense. So yeah, fandoms can be fun and creative, but toxic stan behavior is a good reminder that boundaries and balance online really matter.
For sure, it's true that these toxic stans create hostile environments with these constant arguments and such online. Social media platforms with, are making them way too comfortable to mess attacks, critics, and spam comments online. Behaviors like these amplify extreme stand behavior and make it normalized and encouraged in the group. An article by New Musical Express discussed that stan communities sometimes organize pile-ons against online users who criticize their favorite artists, showing how fandom loyalty can escalate into toxic behavior. Well, yes, it's not wrong to be loyal to your favorite artist, but every human has their own opinions, and respecting those is important. When you treat others' opinion with hostility, even if it does not align with yours, respect comes a long way.
Indeed, exactly. And that's when the line between passion and obsession becomes blurred. Being invested in a show or character or an artist's daily life is normal. Still, we as people, we have to know that entertainment can start affecting our well-being when we spend hours debating online or even feeling emotionally drained from these fandom debates. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be something that entertainment like this should be something that makes people happy and not stressful. Fans may be creative and encouraging, but it is crucial for them to stand aside from time to time. Enjoy the stories and discussion, but remember, it's just entertainment at the end of the day. You have to avoid toxic behaviors online, such as Airies mentioned just now, pile-ons, where people come together to attack a specific fandom. this can also lead to, as we know, as doxing, which is searching for the doxing, as in means you leak someone's information online when their opinion does not align with yours. But at the end of the day, fandom should stay enjoyable rather than overwhelming. For that, we have to maintain some distance in fans if our opinion does not align with theirs. It's okay to it's okay to pause, to reflect, and protect your peace in order to keep your passion playful.
And that's really the takeaway. Fandoms can be amazing spaces for creativity, connections, and just having fun with people who share the same passions. But as we've talked about today, things like fan culture and compulsive media consumptions shows why it's important to set boundaries and check in with our mental health. So, whether you're a die-hard fan of a show, movie, or any community online, remember, it's totally fine to be passionate, but make sure you need to and enjoy your fandom in a way that's healthy for you. So, thank you, Airies and Chelsea, for being our hosts for today's episode, and thank you to you guys for tuning in today. If you like this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who's in a deep fandom, or maybe a little too deep. Catch you next time in a Pretty Loud podcast, and until then, stay balanced and stay sane out there. Bye!
Bye!
Bye bye.